We were the first ones on scene here, and I want you to take a look because we are only less than a quarter of a mile away from where all of this happened. You can still see some of the flashing red lights as they are deterring the travelers from coming in this area. Developing this morning, the Maryland man in custody for the murder of the CEO of United Healthcare will soon be extradited to New York. I'm Alexus Davila, live at the Alert Desk with the latest. Well, the House unveiled a stopgap measure to keep the government funded. The bill could avert a looming shutdown, but there may be some challenges ahead. And we are learning here on the Alert Desk, another similar lawsuit was filed right here in Maryland by mothers and a local immigration advocacy group.
Fascinating us with her self-made fashions. And you have a guest this morning.
Absolutely, because we know we have to be prepared for this Preakness weekend, and what better way to do it than talking to people about the racing industry itself. Raveens. Love you, Alex. Thank you so much. On that early, dark, cold morning, 8 workers were filling potholes on the Francis Scott Key Bridge. But their routine day on the job turned into tragedy. When the dolly crashed into the bridge, the entire crew fell into the Patapsco River. 2 men survived, but the other 6 plunged to their deaths. Hours after the collapse, Padre Ako Walker was called to speak to the victims' families.
The room was just filled with sadness. People were crying, people were uncertain, and you could have seen the pain etched on their faces. When I was leaving, that mother asked me to pray for her son.
That mother was to Alejandro Hernandez Fuentes, the first recovered victim. She asked Walker to do something he had never done before, to go to the morgue.
So I accompanied the family, and it was painful.
The pain grew beyond Baltimore as the world heard more victims' families cry out. The only thing I would always love is for people to know that my husband is a hero to me. In an exclusive interview just 2 days after the tragedy, I spoke to the wife of Jose Lopez. They are sad. They loved Jose. He had a good heart. He was a hard worker. He was always worried about his family too. He died, but he was fighting for us always. Franco endured the longest wait as her husband's body was recovered in May. He was the final victim pulled from the river. Some of the other victims' families tell Walker that they want the community to remember their loved ones as not just immigrants.
That they come here looking for a better life. And so they don't want to be considered inferior. And so the bridge is going to be rebuilt, but I also think that, as an image, we should be building bridges with one another.
Alexus Davila, on your corner for WJZ. When COVID-19 was lurking, we quickly grabbed our cleaning products, whether it was wipes or sprays. We used them to keep bacteria at bay, but a new study says it may be time to cut back on the overcleaning. Most cleaning products and antibacterial soaps contain what's called quats. It's the active ingredient that kills bacteria, fungi, and viruses, but too much of it is not good for your health.
They're also very effective, but they're overkill. And they can be irritating to our skin. They can even cause burns in high enough concentrations.
Dr. Mark Olzik with Carroll Hospital says overcleaning is not only potentially toxic, it could lead to resistant bacteria.
You're courting the ones that have the built-in resistance. And now you have the opposite of what you intended. You want to get rid of bacteria. Instead, you've made this very highly resistant species of bacteria. So that's something we really want to avoid.
So what's the one method the doctor says stands the test of time? Just some soap and water. That's right. The things you need to clean yourself in the shower are just as effective in your home, Olzik says.
If it's good enough to take care of you in those situations, it's good enough to take care of your food preparation surfaces, the bathroom, the kitchen, anywhere else.
A few wipes and 20-second hand washing is good enough, he says. Besides, using fewer cleaning products would cut down on waste at the landfills and prevent any exposure that could harm wildlife, plants, and insects. Reporting in Baltimore, I'm Alexus Davila for WJZ. Tucked away in southeast Baltimore lies a school. One that is most notable not for their bell,
please go to the left around the gym,
but for their announcements in Spanish and in English.
Estas puertas están cerradas durante el día escolar. Por favor,
The Archbishop Boarder School is a Catholic school that opens their doors to hundreds of migrant children who are new to Baltimore, including now 7-year-old Andres. 2 years ago, Rita Sirius was desperately looking for a school for her son. It was a Sunday and just her second day in the United States.
We came to Baltimore on Saturday, and the next day on Sunday we went to walk around about what school, what kind of school. So we came here, we knocked the door, and everything were closed.
A staff member heard the knocks and welcomed the family in. They tried to explain their abrupt arrival in their native tongue.
Mother, father, nor Andres spoke any English when I first met with them. So it was really nice for me to be able to communicate and say, don't worry, it's okay, we can help you.
When the Sirius family arrived in Charm City, they only had the clothes on their backs and a backpack. They were on vacation in Costa Rica when suddenly their country told them they could not come back to Nicaragua. The family was exiled because of political tensions with Sirius' mother, who is a human rights activist.
When we came, we didn't know how to start.
All of their documents like birth certificates and medical history are still stuck at home. But the school staff worked with Rita to make space for Andres.
Can you convert improper fraction to mixed number or vice versa?
Andres was a much shyer child back then. He was very uncertain, wasn't sure, but it doesn't take long for children.
And Brandon was my first friend because he helped me, because he showed me how to do stuff.
Yeah, what did Brandon show you how to do? What did he show you?
Like to speak English.
Andres' story is unique, but not uncommon. Bell says the children here carry a lot of trauma, and they need an environment that can lend an ear and a voice when needed.
Who wants to answer? Yes, Andy?
Our children get to the point where they can talk about it. They're comfortable enough after a while that it's something that we share.
But funding and limited resources are the other challenges this private school faces. As more migrant families arrive, the cost to serve grows.
Since COVID, I think we've had the fastest growth of most of the schools in the Archdiocese because they're arriving and we want to help them and we want them to have a great education.
Numerator.
The Migration Policy Institute says the bills will pile up, but not for long.
In the short term, there are some real costs. You know, the federal government could be doing more to support the cities that are receiving migrants. Otherwise, I think it's up to businesses and individuals to contribute what they can.
Gillette says the investment to get migrant families on their feet pays off later.
These costs might be somewhat short-term in their duration. Over time, we know that immigrants find jobs, they integrate, they become self-sufficient and contribute to their communities.
For us, has changed in our life. This make us feel like we are also part of this community, even we came from other countries.
But sometimes families are forced to start again, even on new soil. In February, firefighters tackled a fire in Highlandtown that engulfed the row home of a Guatemalan family, killing 3 people. Elida Gutierrez Gomez was able to escape, but she lost her children to the flames, 13-year-old Yemi and 8-year-old Angel.
Es una tragedia tan grande. Como madre.
It is a big tragedy. To every mother and her children, we know the greatest pain that one carries because finding out all of this and seeing your children are no longer with you anymore, and to live in a country that is not yours, it is so painful.
Fue tremendo cuando yo salía afuera.
This was tremendous to see outside. I tried to cross the street back to where I lived, through the yard, but it was impossible because in front were all the flames. Padre Ako was just 5 minutes away from the tragedy at his church called the Sacred Heart of Jesus.
I can't remember whether there were any words exchanged or much conversation, again, but just being there.
Padre Ako made some calls and the community gathered clothes, food, and furniture for the Gutierrez family who lost everything. He even opened his church to have a funeral for the victims before they were laid to rest in Guatemala.
¿Cómo te sientes? ¿Qué significa para ti?
Bueno, el significado es que
It means that for the moment I am grateful, despite everything that's happened to us. Losing my niece and my nephew, it has not been easy at all. In a span of 8 years, a zip code in this neighborhood has seen a spike of about 1,800 migrant children.
Many of the migrants in the society are poor and abandoned, abandoned in the sense that they may not necessarily have a voice. Not that they are left alone in the corner.
Originally from Trinidad and Tobago, Padre Ako knows the challenges of trying to adapt to the nation's customs while navigating the complex immigration system.
I'm a migrant ministering in a language that is not mine, in a place that is not my home. That allows me to have a unique perspective.
As new faces continue to arrive, places like Sacred Heart and Archbishop Borders encourage people to greet families with open arms.
Because I think they have nowhere else to go. We are the first face that they're going to see.